Alicia.
And Eddie.
And we're here for our Weigh-In Wednesday on our channel, We Did 3.
Heyo!
We're back again to talk about how last week went, what our current weights are, how much we've lost, if we've lost any, and where our next week is kind of headed and where we're looking towards.
This last weekend was my birthday.
Yay!
26.
Woo-hoo.
But it led to some downfalls with eating, for sure. I mean, we went out to brunch with my parents on Sunday, which if you're familiar with Portland, it's brunch city. So if you're gonna go out on the weekend, it's usually to brunch. So we went out to brunch, had some delicious food, and on Sunday evening, Alicia and our roommate Justin made a delicious dinner. Neither of those were logged on MyFitnessPal, so don't judge. And on Monday night, my in-laws weren't able to join us on Sunday, so they took us to dinner to one of my favorite restaurants, which is Ken's Artisan Pizza. Super good. Anyway, that was also not logged, so again, don't judge.
Yeah, brunch was super delicious. I think it was definitely one of those scenarios where it's a cheat meal, it's your birthday, like, it's kind of like that 80-20 rule, where like 80% of your diet should be like on track, like what you are normally eating, and 20% can like leave a little wiggle room. So brunch was the first part of that. Dinner was actually pretty diet friendly. It was just steak and veggie with a little bit of bread. And the bread was like the only thing that wasn't really friendly to how we've been eating.
Right.
And then the last meal was definitely, I think, the worst in terms of diet because it was just straight pizza. And it was really good. And we did have salad first, but
oh, yeah.
I would say that one was definitely the most like carb-laden of the meals.
For sure. In terms of lunches, though, Alicia figured out a great plan for bringing salads from home. And there's a little cafe, I guess you could call it, in our building. And they offer just sides of chicken and rice. And I found out bacon today. That won't be happening, but I found out they do bacon. Super good. But we've been having chicken from the little cafe as a side and just putting it on our salads, and that's been pretty good. Also, we've been making smoothies in the morning and making them as kind of a mid-morning snack, which is also delicious.
Like Eddie said, our routine has really been getting a lot more structured as far as how our eating is going. We definitely felt that last week that it really like came together as far as like, this is what we're doing every day. So we were eating those salads that he mentioned with the chicken and the smoothies that we're making like ahead of time and then bringing to work with us. We're also really consistent about what we're eating for breakfast, which is both of us have like our own combination of oatmeal that we both really like in the morning. I'm a banana with cinnamon kind of person. And
I'm a honey with blueberry kind of guy.
Yeah, so we've also just been doing like our own kind of combinations of things, but pretty much throughout the day we like eat the same thing consistently every day for our lunches that we pack.
It's also easier to log to on MyFitnessPal just
Totally.
because you can just transfer over yesterday's meal, which is super helpful. Also, thank you to our friend Sarah, who recommended logging food before you eat. It kind of crossed my mind. I feel like it would be easier to log it and then hold yourself accountable to it because it's already been logged. Mostly because it's really tedious and kind of annoying to log it when you're doing it bit by bit. So that's also been really helpful. Thanks, Sarah.
The other thing that we started doing this week that we hadn't been before is sticking a little bit closer to our fitness kind of goals. We definitely are still working on getting to the gym more consistently, but we've been working out at home fairly consistently, much more so than we have the past couple weeks.
Yeah.
So I think that is also helpful and has been going really well. We've been doing the Jillian Michaels 30-day shred video, which I know a lot of fitness bloggers and people are familiar with. It really helps me personally like jumpstart my fitness because it gets me to a level where fitness becomes easier. It's a really quick way for me to increase my fitness abilities so that I can get to the gym and start doing some stuff that's a little bit more intense there, is to start doing it at home for me. And that actually brings us to this week's weigh-in, which was this morning. I am officially down to, on the scale this morning, was 215. And I actually think it was probably a little lower than that just based on like what time I weighed myself this morning. I just didn't really have a chance to like weigh myself under the usual conditions that I would. So I think it's actually probably more like 214.5 in that family. But for today, officially 215. And that is actually down 2 pounds from our last week's weigh-in, which is awesome. I'll take 2 pounds a week any day. That's amazing. And since last week, it was kind of like a stalled week for me. It definitely felt good to be like, and now I'm back on track.
For sure, I agree. I was at a stalemate for 3 weeks. Super embarrassing.
Since you started.
Yeah, but I definitely changed my ways, logging my food and also syncing my Fitbit to my MyFitnessPal app. Super helpful because it tells you your calorie deficit. So that made it possible for me to change it up this week and really stick to it. And I also lost 2 pounds this week, so I'm at 236.
Woohoo! 2 pound loss.
Yeah.
It's awesome. As you can tell, our new routine is definitely working a lot better for us as far as getting really some results as far as losing weight. This week, I still really want to get started on the Couch to 5K running program. That's another part of fitness for me that has worked really well in the past as far as me losing weight and increasing like my capacity to work out and work out hard. So that's one goal that I have for this next week, is that I want to maintain all of the habits that we've started forming this last week and then just add on top of it, like really getting to running again. I'd really love to do that Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays. If any of you are familiar with the Couch to 5K program, it's a 3-day-a-week running program, and then you cross-train the other days. So that would be my goal this week, is to continue with what we've been doing and really starting on Couch to 5K. And that would make next Monday my first day running. We'll see if that happens. It's really hard to start anything on Mondays for me, just because Mondays are the worst and I don't have any motivation there. So maybe it would be better if I started this Friday or something. I don't know. We'll see what happens, but that's my plan for next week.
I also wouldn't mind starting to run either. I know that it's worked for Alicia, and I've used to run when I was younger, and I think I could probably get into it again. What I'm really missing though is a pool. We don't have a pool at our gym. I was also really into swimming, but that fell by the wayside years ago, but I still have an interest in that. Mostly I just got to get my butt to the gym. Hard because it's so nice outside again, but also it's just hard to get there. But we've also been doing the Jillian Michaels, so it's kind of supplementing. I mentioned on a YouTube comment to someone that juggling multiple new habits is just so hard, and also I'm super ADD, so I'm either doing something with photography, or I'm doing something with work, or I'm doing something with YouTube, and I'm trying to balance all of them at the same time. And so logging my food, getting to the gym, doing dinner, having a community group here, it's a whole balancing act. So definitely a new lifestyle change for us.
Right, and I think that where we're at is basically just trying to marry those concepts all together. It's like, how do you balance your existing life with the fact that you have to change it radically in order to get healthier?
Exactly.
And that is always going to be something that we are like struggle with. And I think that's a big reason for me why I fell out of fitness. If you don't know, in 2011, I actually I went from like 175 to 145. So I think 30 pounds. And that was on the lower end of the scale, so it's a lot harder to lose. And I eventually just gained it all back plus some, because it's so easy to fall out of the habit of being healthy. Right. And it's really hard to add it back in when you've lost it.
Such a lifestyle change.
So we're working on that part really a lot too, and I do think it's getting a lot better. And YouTube definitely helps. It keeps us definitely accountable more than anything I can remember us doing previously. When we have to sit here and tell you guys about how the week went, it reminds us how our week went. And then like definitely gives us the fuel to keep going for next week and really examine it and think about how we can improve it.
For sure. So that concludes this week's Weigh In Wednesday number 4.
I know we've mentioned before following us on our Fitbit app. However, a viewer let us know that you can actually not follow us on Fitbit without our email addresses. And we don't really get those out. So the solution or the workaround that we have is we have our MyFitnessPal apps and our usernames also down below. And I believe that you can see our activity from our Fitbits on our MyFitnessPal because we've synced them to MyFitnessPal. So you can follow both our activity and our food logs on MyFitnessPal. That's easier anyway, it's all in one spot. And Eddie and I will both be, we've synced our Fitbits to also share on Twitter our weekly like recap of our activity. So if you're not following us on Twitter, please go do so, and you can also catch our Fitbit updates there. Speaking of Twitter, thank you guys so much for all of the likes and comments and just the interaction that you've given us with our Weigh-In Wednesday videos. We've had, again, so much feedback and so many like cheer-ons from other people.
So much positive feedback,
yeah,
for
sure, about just our weight loss and how we're doing and encouraging us to keep going. It's just been a really great like intro to like everyone watching this happening in front of their eyes.
It could have gone so bad.
It could have. It could have been awful, and it's been amazing. So
Thanks,
keep
guys.
liking, keep subscribing, keep commenting, tell us what works for you, what doesn't. We take all of that advice, I will tell you right now. We read them all, and we're like, oh, we should try that.
That's nice.
So yeah, I mean, keep doing it. We love it.
That's all for this week, guys. See you next week.
Bye!
Wouldn't it be funny if I didn't push record? But I did. Boy, that would suck.
As you can tell, our new routines... Sorry, were you going to talk?
No, I was not looking at the camera. I was like...
Okay, well.